Prabhuji is muted.
Yeah, okay.
There. How is that? Better?
Yes, Prabhuji, now it's clear.
Okay. Very good.
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, you can hear.
How do I see the participants? I don't see anybody.
Yeah, people are joining. This
Okay.
only, it is another 4 more minutes are there.
Okay.
People are
Yeah.
joining. Yeah. നിങ്ങൾ കഴിച്ചോ? നിങ്ങൾ കഴിച്ചോളാം. അത് ഊണല്ല കഴിക്കുക.
Wait.
Yes, Prabhuji, clear now.
Oh yeah, my camera was spun around. I couldn't figure out what I was looking at.
It's okay. It's okay now. Hare Krishna, Shivana Prabhu.
Haribol.
Shivana Krishna
Hare
Prabhu, you
Krishna.
can, yeah, we can
Hare
start.
Krishna,
now.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Hare Krishna, His Grace Pancha Gauda Prabhu. Very happy to see you, Prabhu.
Good to
So
see
last
you.
last March, same time we were, last February, this date we were in Vrindavan. So that time Chandravamsi Prabhu was explaining about you more. So very much inspired. 1 week we were there in Vrindavan, Prabhu.
Okay.
So we had very nice darshan. Same time, February 25, we were in Vrindavan. Very happy to see you, Prabhu. Today, this year, we are having your class. Thank you, Prabhu.
Jai.
Thank you for your time.
Auspicious day. Lord Nityananda's mercy.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, actually, we can start the, Manibhushan Krishna Prabhu, we will start the class. We'll give a quick introduction and I think slowly
Yes,
devotees will join.
Yeah, we can do the introduction and proceed.
Hare Krishna, all the devotees, welcome you all for this special class on the auspicious day of appearance of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So today we are very, very fortunate and blessed to have association of His Grace Pancha Gauda Prabhu. Those of you who have visited ISKCON Vrindavan definitely might have had the sweet, pleasant face of might have seen Prabhu. Prabhuji actually in 1975 he has joined ISKCON. He is a disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhuji from 1993 is serving as a temple president in ISKCON Vrindavan. So you can say he's a Dhamvasi. We are very fortunate to have him. And Prabhuji is also a regular Kirtanier for this 24-hour Kirtan Seva which is going on in the temple. And Prabhuji was basically brought up in Buffalo, USA. And he was a member of local rock band play drums group. But Prabhuji was so much, in the early age, in the teenage, was so much attracted by seeing the Sankirtan. And he has dedicated his whole life in serving Srila Prabhupada and spreading Krishna consciousness all around the world and serving Guru and Gauranga. So welcome, Prabhu. Welcome to Kanyadesh. We are really very happy to have your association and hear the katha from you. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. On behalf of Kanyadesh devotees, we would like to welcome Prabhu by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. I can.
Ready to roll?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistang Stapitang Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I can see all the participants. Let's see. How do you see all the participants?
Prabhu, on the bottom of the screen, there is a footer in the screen. You can see the participants there, Prabhu. You can see your mic, mute, stop video, and then you can see the participants.
Yeah, now I see. I see. Thank you. Okay. So we just had a beautiful class in Krishna Balaram Mandir, sitting underneath the beautiful tamal tree. I just finished bathing Gornitai on the altar. and here in Vrindavan. So maybe some of that good vibration will spread to all of you, because actually Vrindavan is such a special place. Prabhupada's home. Every morning we get to go to see the Samadhi Artik of Prabhupada, and just the excitement of Vrindavan is just an incredible reflection of Lord Nityananda's mercy. Dinabandhu Prabhu gave us a summary of Lord Nityananda's pastimes, and also there was a beautiful singing of Lord Nityananda's Nitai Pada Kamala. I wanted to read the translation and also Prabhupada's purport on it. It's always beautiful to hear about Lord Nityananda. So the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only of one, but of millions of moons. If the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha and Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Such a beautiful prayer. We should listen and really try to understand the great benediction that we were given by Lord Nityananda. Anyone who has not established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu is understood to have spoiled his valuable human birth. Such a human being is actually an uncontrollable animal. Because he never uttered the holy name of Nityananda, he has become merged into the so-called material happiness. What can his useless education and family tradition do to help him? Being maddened after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, oh, what is Nityananda? What can he do for me? I don't care. The result is that he is accepting something false to be truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda. When he is merciful toward you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion. They are a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottam Das is very unhappy. Therefore, I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My dear Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet. So these special days of the Lord's appearance, when we hear about his glories and about the means to get out of this material world, it's like a refreshing and enlivening. Somehow we had a whole year of struggle with this COVID, and many people have been locked down, locked in. But now in Vrindavan, we have the Kumbh Mela going out. So we have Kirtan. Our Padayatra card is going throughout they made a big effort this year, the government, I think 40, 50 crores. It's a big Kumbh Mela in Vrindavan on the bank of Jamuna. So there's all kinds of kirtan going on, prasad distribution, book distribution. Pilgrims that have been hungry to come to Vrindavan to take darshan of the deities. So what a special day today is, where we're actually in the midst of all the chaos and the confusion of COVID, whatnot. There are many, many people here visiting in Sri Vrindavan Dham. As it was mentioned earlier, I was attracted by the kirtan of the devotees in the streets of Buffalo, New York. I like music very much. And coming together with the devotees, meeting Prabhupada in Washington, D.C. for the bicentennial, when we were in the Guru Puja, Prabhupada would just raise his hands and everyone would jump in the air with great ecstasy and great jubilation. And this is the meaning of Krishna consciousness. So this is what we're talking about here, that we're all unhappy in the material world, but real happiness comes by the mercy of the original Guru. Prabhupada is representing Lord Nityananda. He's our Guru, and he's giving full potency. So Lord Nityananda, he performed his pastime, came, assisted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to reestablish the Sankirtan mission. I'm sure many have heard many times about how Lord Nityananda's appearance day, how he appeared in Eka Chakra, and as a child with all his friends, he would perform the various Leela, Ram Leela, Krishna Leela, and everyone's amazed. How is it that Lord Nityananda, that Nimai knows all these? And he said, these are my pastimes. And he had everyone enchanted. And very quickly, just a summary, up to 12 years, he was in Eka Chakra performing his wonderful pastimes. And a nice sannyasi came on pilgrimage, and the parents said, what we can offer you. And he said, well, your son will be perfect to come with me on pilgrimage. So just like Akrura sent by Kamsa came to Vrindavan, took Krishna and Balaram, everyone was devastated. So Hadai Pandit and his mother and all the inhabitants of Eka Chakra were totally devastated, but Nityananda was eager to go. So for 20 years, traveled to all the holy places, like we hear how Lord Balaram also traveled throughout all the holy places. This is their business. Paritranaya sadhanam vinashaya chaduskritam. Krishna repeatedly comes. He expands himself as Balaram, expands himself as Mahasankarshan and Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu. From the spiritual world, he manifests all the material worlds and enters into the material worlds, produces Brahma, produces the Vedic literature. And Balaram's always assisting Krishna. Lord Nityananda is assisting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The same Balaram is Lord Nityananda. I wanted to read to you what Srila Prabhupada commented on Nitai Pada Kamala. He said, this is a very nice song by Narottam Das Thakur. He advises that Nitai Pada, the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, Kamala means lotus, and Pada means feet, are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only of one, but of millions of moons. We can just imagine the aggregate total of value of soothing shine of millions of moons. We're only giving some visions or comparisons, but it is completely being relieved of all stress and anxiety, which is in this material world, Jagat, which is progressing towards hell. There's always a blazing fire, and everyone is struggling hard without finding peace. Therefore, in the world, if the world wants real peace, it should take shelter on the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. So this is what Srila Prabhupada came to give us the solution to all the problems, to all the anxieties and stress in the material world. It's not just another religion or yoga system. It's the absolute truth, which Krishna himself is speaking, just like Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. It wasn't that this is somebody's concocted words from this material world. This is coming from the spiritual world. Goloker, Premadan, Harinam, Sankirtan. And so these, after the pilgrimage of Lord Nityananda, traveling and meeting up again with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'm sure there's many pastimes you can read about them, but Lord Nityananda served as the original spiritual master, the original guru, giving his mercy and blessings, and very much felt in the association of devotees. The more we can actually take shelter of the Lord, the more all the miseries in our life will just fade away. So this, if one actually wants relief from the struggle of existence and actually wants to extinguish the blazing fire of material pangs, Narottam Das Thakur advises, please take shelter of Lord Nityananda. What will be the result of accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda? He says, Heno Nitai Binebai. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, Radha Krishna Poite Nai. It'll be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. So you've seen our Lalita Vishaka, Radha Shama Sundar. We say Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hare Priye. Srimati Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan. She is also Guru. And if we want to achieve that highest platform of going back to Krishna Loka, Radha Shama Sundar, then we have to take shelter. The aim of this Krishna consciousness movement is to enable us to approach Radha Krishna and associate with the Supreme Lord in his sublime pleasure dance. People like to imitate the rasa dance, Krishna, but this ultimate pleasure dance is the living entity's relationship with the Lord in any capacity. But obviously, the topmost is with Krishna and the gopis in Braj and Vrindavan, which is non-different than the spiritual kingdom. But that type of relationship takes time. People, Manusyanang Sahasreshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye. Many people are striving for Krishna consciousness or striving for self-realization. And out of many, many who strive, hardly one understands the truth. But by approaching Chaitanya Nityananda, when the Krishna Balaram Mandir opened, Prabhupada put Krishna Balaram in the center, but he wanted to introduce the worship of Gaur Nitai, because all over the world, especially Hindu society, people know Radha Krishna and Krishna Balaram, but not everyone was fully aware of Nityananda, Chaitanya. And as we heard in class today, Gaur Nitai was established everywhere. I was in Miami Temple, and also the Atlanta Temple had brass Gaur Nitai deities, very beautiful, very merciful. And Srila Prabhupada, when touring in South India, not South India, in South America, went to Mexico and Caracas, and then Miami and Atlanta, and everywhere, especially during that time in 75, Shrudha Kirti Prabhu was here. He was personally traveling with Srila Prabhupada. Many times tell the story, you've heard also in recording, how Prabhupada is saying, you take shelter of lotus feet of Chaitanya Nityananda. They're very, very merciful, very kind. And he would not be able to speak. He was so full of emotion and so choked up in the appreciation of the mercy of Chaitanya Nityananda. So in the Krishna consciousness movement, Srila Prabhupada's society, people sometimes think, I don't want to be part of an organized religion. But that's not it. Krishna consciousness means the teachings of Prabhupada, which is non-different than the teachings of Chaitanya Nityananda. Real Krishna consciousness is hearing about Krishna, hearing about Lord Nityananda, dancing in the kirtan, participating, seeing the deity, worshiping the deities, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books to give others the mercy for the deity, chanting the holy name, celebrating the holy days, the celebrations of the appearance days of the Lord and his great devotees. It's like everything is so magnified here in Vrindavan. I'm just trying to have you come again and visit us. Pretty soon the gates or the borders will be open. But it's true that many places there's Krishna consciousness, there's worship, there's deities, there's chanting, there's association. But it seems everything's very, very much more magnified here. So if you want to have a boost, a supercharge, you come see Krishna Balaram, join the Kirtan, join the Harinam, and just by being here in this association, you'll make tremendous advancement. We need to make tremendous advancement. We've been stuck in this ignorance for billions of lifetimes. And Lord Nityananda, Krishna is very kind. Namo Maha Vadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gauratvashe Namaha. Lord is freely giving, always, but by the mercy of the Lord, Chaitanya Nityananda, the Goswamis are empowered by Chaitanya Nityananda. Srila Prabhupada is totally empowered, giving us the essence of the teachings of the Lord through the Goswamis literature. Not only that, he sets up a temple, gives us a full morning program, gives us the Harinam, the Prashadam, the Sankirtan. So all of this, the Naratam, or the festival that Lord Nityananda did, was the Panihati festival, because we're also staying in Gainesville. Whenever in Atlanta they have that Panihati festival, many devotees come together and experience the different wonderful offerings that Lord Nityananda asked Raghunath Das to give as much curd and rice and all kinds of varieties of the matka, the clay pots, very, very creatively and tastefully offered to the Lord. So Narottam Das Thakur advises that if one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must accept the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. So accepting the lotus feet, that's what Prabhupada giving us, the sadhana bhakti. It's not just simply some magical, mystical, plug yourself into the wall and you're fully charged. Yes, you can get special agyata sukriti, special blessing, but you have to want to come out of the closet or the shade and take the sunshine or the moonshine. Then he says, say sambandha nahi. Sambandha means connection or connect. Anyone who has not contacted a relationship with Nityananda is understood to have spoiled his human birth. So one who's not glorifying Chaitanya Nityananda, is not taking shelter of hearing about Nityananda, hearing the pastimes of Krishna, that means we're spoiling the human birth. You know, when you have something that spoils, it smells rotten and it's pretty disgusting, you just want to get rid of it. So that's what the material body is going to turn into, a rotten, disgusting, withering, unless it's used in the Lord's service, then it becomes totally blissful. In another song, Narottam Das Thakur says, Hari Hari Vipale Janma Goainu. Anyone who has not approached Radha Krishna through a relationship with Nityananda has uselessly spoiled his life. Imagine somebody tells you, you've totally wasted your life, you spoiled your life. You feel, oh my God, I spoiled my whole life by not taking shelter of the Lord. And this is the unfortunate situation in this world. We get caught up with nationality, family, children. The other day, we were reading in our morning after the Mangal Artik, Prabhupada's daily quotes, saying that a man, he worked hard his whole life, and then he's asking that now I need to take sannyas. The wife says, what sannyas? We still have our sons and our daughter to marry. What have you done? You cannot go. So we become imprisoned. Maituni Agra, the shackles of this material world, the bodily concept is keeping us all in prison life after life due to sentimental attachments. Not that we become callous or neglectful. You know, Prabhupada wanted us to, they say, how do you know who is a Vaishnava? He is a perfect gentleman. So a perfect gentleman, he is very mindful of his responsibilities, but he doesn't uselessly spoil his life. Britta means useless. Janma means life. Tar means his. And Sambandha means relationship. Anyone who does not make a relationship with Nityananda is simply spoiling the boon of his human form of life. So this is something special. A boon means a great benediction, great favor. If we look around, so many animals are struggling. There's so many varieties and species of life and all kinds of form. Living entities are everywhere. But this life in the human form, what to speak of? Meeting a spiritual master and getting the blessings of Krishna, Brahmanda, Brahmite Koni, Bhagyavan, Jeev, Guru Krishna, Prasade Pai, Bhaktilat, the beach. We're wandering. This is Lord Nityananda's creation. We're wandering throughout the higher planets, different universes, different places. Krishna is amazingly giving us all opportunity in every form of life, in higher planets, in the heavens, and also the hells, and all the different forms of life. We are struggling and simply spoiling this boon. So why is he spoiling? Se pashu boro durachar. Se means that. Pashu means animal, and durachar means misbehaved, or the most misbehaved. Without elevation to Krishna consciousness or the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Nityananda, life is simply spoiled in the animal propensity of sense gratification. That's what the material world's all about, all the billboards. I work in New York for many, many years. And you can see there are 50, 60 million tourists every year. They're coming for shopping, going to the clubs and the restaurants and plays. And yeah, this is the enjoyment of the material world, but it's temporary, so-called enjoyment. It all leads to suffering and misery. These are they call them the animal propensities of sense gratification. But we're being informed by Prabhupada, parang drishtva nivartate, niraharasya dehinang raso, that if we experience the higher taste of chanting the Lord's holy name and hearing about Lord Nityananda, his beauty, his power, and that he is so merciful that even though Jagai and Madhai, I think Madhai attacked him, he still was very kind, very merciful. This is the Lord's special benediction in this, especially in this fallen age of Kali. People have no chance of understanding the purpose and goal of life without the Lord's blessings. So Narottam Das says that ordinary animals can be tamed, but when a human being is animalistic, having only animal propensities, he is most horrible, for he cannot be tamed. Some people know, they've seen that if you commit a criminal act, that there's punishment, but still being driven by lust and greed, ignorance and passion, uncontrolled mind. As Arjuna says, the mind is more difficult to control than the raging wind. Krishna is sympathetic, Lord Nityananda is sympathetic, yes, but constant practice and detachment. So Srila Prabhupada has given us this ISKCON, this society, and ISKCON means Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, nectar of devotion, nectar of destruction, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because these tie everything together, Krishna's message, the creation, the purpose of life, how to get out of the entrapment of material existence, the glories of devotional service, what it means to become a first-class devotee, the do's and don'ts, what to avoid, associate with Vaishnavas, how to stay clean in mind and body, how to progress, how to understand that you're making spiritual advancement under the guidance of sadhu, shastra, and guru. So we have all the ingredients necessary for getting out of this material existence. We have everything available to us. And that steadiness is so important, that regulation. Every night you think, oh, I have to take rest early. But the mind says, no, just stay up a little longer. You'll be okay. Then when the early morning comes, you don't want to get up. But if you're looking forward to it and coming to see the deities and actually chanting and appreciating the blessings of Tulsi Maharani, the blessing of Krishna Balaram, Gaur Nitai, Radhashama Sundar, Srila Prabhupada, and just appreciating to some extent the great opportunity we have in this human form of life, that we want to utilize it to always be in the mood of Vrindavan, in the mentality of Vrindavan. But that takes practice and steady determination, isn't it? And enthusiasm. Utsahan nishchayatarya tat karma pavartana. Without enthusiasm, determination, patience, then very quickly the mind will convince us that, oh, I'm wasting my time. I should just go and, join my old friends and get back to where I was before. I have a friend, he was struggling for many years. I preached to him, and finally took to Krishna consciousness for 6-7 years, even spent a little time in Vrindavan. But he went back and he felt lonely, and again associating with his friends, became a Christian again, which is not bad to become a Christian as long as you're following. But we can very easily be illusioned, or distracted from our vision of achieving the perfection or goal of life, of awakening our love for Krishna. Ordinary cats and dogs, or even a tiger, can be tamed. But when a human being goes out of his way and neglects to take care of the human activity of Krishna consciousness, his higher intelligence will simply be misused for animal propensities, and it is very difficult to tame him. The enactment of state laws cannot make a thief an honest man, because his heart is polluted. He cannot be tamed. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaito Darpanam, Marjanam Bhavamaha Devagni Nirvapanam. Cleansing the heart. This is the process, that by this chanting of the Lord's holy name, in the association of devotees, in the holy Dham, Sri Vrindavan Dham, every temple can be like Sri Vrindavan Dham, then one can actually cleanse the heart. Because the heart is polluted, we cannot be tamed. The mind is out of control. The sense is out of control. We actually have no appreciation of the Lord, what to speak of his activities, his pastimes. Every man sees that a person who commits criminal offenses is punished by the government. And also in scriptural injunctions, punishment in hell is mentioned. Sometimes religions want to talk about hell just to scare. You tell a child, if you don't do what you're told, I'm going to put you in your room and in your corner. So in the scriptures says, if you don't obey these rules and regulations, these laws, you're going to go to hell forever. That's for sure. That's true. But we need a solution. You can't just say, sit still and don't do anything. We have to do something. And that's the key, that Prabhupada engaged us all in going out in Sankirtan. I spent 20 years in Miami Airport, book distribution. It's a very important, because by being out there, meeting the conditioned souls and giving them the most valuable literature that can change their life forever is very pleasing to Krishna. This is Krishna. This is what Lord Chaitanya wanted. He ordered everyone. Jare dako tare koho Krishna upadesha maragai guru hoy tare desh. That you travel or you go and preach this message of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Nityananda was instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You go to Bengal and you preach for everyone the Yuga Dharma, Kali Kalira Dharma, Krishna Nam Sankirtan. Golokya, Premadan, Harinam, Sankirtan, this gift, this treasure of Godhead, of the holy name is coming from the spiritual world. And Kali Kalir Dharma, this is the Kali Yuga religion for everyone, is to hear about Krishna, to remember Krishna, and tell others of Krishna. But despite hearing from scripture and seeing the action of the state laws, the demonic cannot be tamed. What are they doing? Nitai na bolilo muke. Since they do not know who Nityananda is, they never say the names of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. Majilo, Sangsara Suke. Majilo means becomes absorbed. They become absorbed in so-called material enjoyment. See, probably so-called material enjoyment. Because there's a reflection. Obviously, there's some so-called enjoyment in this world, but it leads to ultimately old age, disease, and death. But we're not the body. As long as we're in a bodily concept, we're going to go in that direction of suffering the so-called material enjoyment and never experiencing. We've heard that one who achieves Brahman realization or impersonal realization, that the pleasure is so much better than material existence. But that's not even a drop of that, doesn't compare to the ocean of happiness one can get through devotional service, through awakening a relationship with Lord Nityananda, with Lord Chaitanya. They don't care who Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda are, and therefore they go deep down into material existence. Not only down, but deep down into material existence. And we think, well, these are just words. This is scripture. This is the real reality of life, that if we don't take up the process of worshiping and glorifying Chaitanya, Nityananda, Krishna Balaram, and serving the Vaishnavas and develop the proper mood, Trinadapi, Sanichina, Tarodapi, Seshnuna, Amanina, Manadena, Kirtaniya, Siddhahari, because we all have ego. We're very much careful to protect our ego and our, we don't like anyone making us feel that we're lowly. We like to be praised and appreciated. But the mentality of the devotee is one of appreciation of others' service, that, as Vyasaki Prabhu said, after Dinabandhu spoke, what can I say? He said everything so beautifully. And we were talking just before his class, and we said, yes, a Vaishnava appreciates all Vaishnavas. There's so much doing nice service, and everyone's so much better. Like when I try to do some kirtan, and I see all these young boys, and they're singing so beautifully and playing musical instruments so nicely for the pleasure of Krishna. I think some people are just gifted with such potency, but we still, whatever Krishna's given us, whatever little bit of ability, Krishna's the ability in man. Not that we become proud thinking, I can do this, I'm managing temple, or I'm singing kirtan, everyone's appreciating. No, that we just try to serve Prabhupada the way Prabhupada did. He sang, he lectured, he loved everyone, and he encouraged the devotees to take up the process of Krishna consciousness seriously. And not only that, he set the proper example, his dedication to his Guru Maharaj. He was telling the story that when he was young in Calcutta, he climbed really high up this one scaffold. And one devotee said, Prabhupada, you were very brave back then. He goes, I am still brave. That how I can come to your country with no money and no assistance, just an old man. And this is bravery. This is faith and dedication. What to speak of the suffering he had to undergo from our point of view. We're all suffering in our own ways. Some appear to be suffering more than others, but everyone has their share of suffering in this world, whether it's family, with children, economic suffering, association suffering. Maybe, you're in one of the cold places, the rainy places. I lived in Florida for many years, in India, so I guess I had a lot of sunshine. But then you got to worry. I got a bald head, and you get all these spots, and so there's always suffering involved. So we need to take shelter of Chaitanya Nityananda so that our material suffering goes away and we awaken spiritual desire. So instead of, we go deep down into material existence. Vidya kule ki koribe tar. If one has no connection with Nityananda, if he does not come to Krishna consciousness, his vidya, or his so-called academic education and kula, birth, in a high family or great nation, will not protect him. So again, so-called academic education. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he also reprimands himself, saying that what is the use of this so-called education made me into a bigger foolish situation. So this situation that when people think that they're in the mode of goodness, or they're great yogis, academically qualified, or they come from a very good family, a great nation, from America, but now everything is completely in this material world, keeping one in the bodily concept. This will not protect him, regardless of whether one is born in a very big family or nation, or has a very advanced academic education. At the time of death, nature's law will act, his work will be finished, and he will get another body according to that work. Yang vapi smaran bhavam tyajat yante kalevaram. Whatever state of being we remember at the time of death, that's where we're going. And if we don't prepare ourselves, if we don't condition ourselves, surround ourselves by good association, absorb our mind with Krishna Katha, engage our body in Krishna's, Lord Chaitanya's service, as Lord Nityananda is showing, then for sure, we're going to go deep down. Why are these human animals acting in this way? Ahankare mata hoya nitai pada pasarya. They have become maddened by a false concept of bodily life, and thus they have forgotten their eternal relationship with Nityananda. Asatyere satya korimani. Such forgetful persons accept the illusory energy as factual. That's first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Janmat yasya yatom vayaditatashtrateshu vigyaswarat tene brahma hridayadikave muyati surya. That the absolute truth is there, but that in the material world, the illusion of thinking you see water on land or land on water, that's everything in this material world has, like, it's factual. This is all real. Yes, it's real. To us, it's real, but it's temporary. It is real, but it's temporary. It's illusion because it doesn't exist, doesn't continue to exist after our existence. Whereas we are Satchidananda Vigraha, ever existing, undying, primeval. We're not slain when the body is finished. We continue on. Asatyere refers to that which is not a fact, or in other words, Maya. Maya means that which has no existence, but is a temporary illusion only. When I was young devotee, still a young devotee, but I'm talking about 45, 46 years ago, I was going to visit my family, and my temple president said, you learned this one verse. You probably all heard of it. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyeya. This energy, divine energy of mind, Krishna's, it's difficult to overcome. Very difficult. It's temporary illusion, cannot cross beyond it, only by surrendering to Krishna, Lord Nityananda. Persons who have no contact with Nityananda accept this illusory body as factual. Narottam Das Thakur then says, Nitayir Karuna Hoive Braje Radha Krishna Poive. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda first. When he is merciful toward you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Daro Nitai Charana Duikani. Narottam Das advises that one firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. And that firm catching hold means that we have to regulate our lives, practice every day for the Mangal Arati, Tulsi Puja. We have a task, chanting our 16 rounds of the holy name. Though we may not have a taste, the mind is distracted. Still, this is medicine, the real medicine. And this is how to take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, by hearing the Lord's glories. And every day, have a fixed time for reading Prabhupada's books. By reading, go through it. I'm a nectar devotion. Then you finish, you do your Gita, nectar devotion, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So many beautiful literatures are there. Every day, you spend some time and progress systematically, then the strength will come, more enthusiasm and drive to take shelter of the Lord. Then again, he says, Nitai Charana Satya. One should not misunderstand and think that as he has caught hold of Maya, similarly the lotus feet of Nityananda may also be something like that Maya or illusion. That's the biggest difficulty that Prabhupada says. You take the holy name of Krishna. If you don't have a name, take this name. Why you don't take it? I just don't believe. People sometimes they want to put themselves in a position they don't believe in God or the scriptures, just so that they can illusion themselves to think that they can act in any which way they want to. It will not be, there'll be no consequences, so to speak. Forget the government, but the law is there, and Krishna's government sees everything. Krishna's in the heart. He's witnessing everything, good or bad. Sunshine, moonshine. He's in every atom. There's no escape from Krishna. Lord Nityananda is there, but we have to now turn towards the Lord and take shelter. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur confirms, Nitai Charana Satya, the lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion. They are a fact. Tahara Sevaka Nitya, and one who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. So how they say, like the iron rod, you put it in the fire, it becomes red hot. It acts like fire. So if we are serving Lord Nityananda, preaching, doing our book distribution, our deity worship, cleaning the temple, cleaning the toilets, whatever it might be, we're in the mood of serving the Lord, we also become transcendental. If one engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda in Krishna consciousness, he immediately achieves his transcendental position on the spiritual platform, which is eternal and blissful. Sometimes people say, oh, well, it's the same rice, same dal. Why is that prasad and ours is not prasad? Because it's offered to the Lord with love and is prepared and offered with love and devotion. And also our activities, although they may appear mundane and people may think, oh, a book salesman, we have lots of those. Why is your activity on a transcendental platform? Because it's all geared. Bhoktarang jagatapasang sarvaloka maheshwarang suhridang sarvhutanam gyatpamang shanti rishyati. This is the peace formula. The Bhoktarang, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer throughout the universe. We're not the enjoyers, but he's a friend to everyone, and everything should be offered to Krishna for his enjoyment. Then we also come to the spiritual platform, which is eternal and blissful. Therefore, he advises Nitai Pada Sadakoro Asa. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Naratam Boro Duki, Naratam Das Thakur, the Acharya, is taking the position that he is very unhappy. Actually, he is representing ourselves, just like Arjuna was representing us to give so many arguments that he should not surrender or fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. And Krishna, with a smiling face, said, "You are speaking learned words, but no learned man speaks this way. You're acting like a fool." So here, although Narottam Das Thakur, pure devotee of the Lord, taking that position that he's very unhappy, actually he's representing ourselves. He says, "My dear Lord, I am very unhappy. Nitai more koro suki. Therefore, I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. Rakoranga charanera pasha. Please keep me in a corner of your lotus feet." So this is our prayer to the Lord, that somehow or other I've fallen into this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and engage me as one of your servants at your lotus feet. Because without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, there's no hope. We'll be in this material world, struggling and suffering like we have been for many, many years. I never really planned initially to come to Vrindavan, although I've been visiting ever since 77. Every year I've come to Sri Vrindavan for the pilgrimage. But I brought my family in 93, and my son was 7 and 3 years old. And he wanted to go to we wanted to put him in school, but what to do, where to put in a school. So we thought to put him in the Gurukul, but because I guess we were in the bodily concept to some extent that I wasn't going to leave him here. So I decided, even though I just finished renovating my home in Florida, Miami, we just packed up 11 trunks and moved to India in 93. And since that time, it's been a wonderful experience to see what Prabhupada has given us, the blessings of Mayapur, Vrindavan, so many beautiful temples, what to speak of his lectures, his books, and opportunity for devotional service, because devotional service is not easily available. It's not that, okay, I come to the Holy Dham, I visit, Loy Bazaar, go see a few holy places and then out. No, when you come, spend a little time and just really sit down in front of Krishna Balaram, do kirtan, do some service in the mood of serving the Vaishnavas. We have nice food for life projects. So this is Lord Nityananda's mercy. They're very, very compassionate. We pray every day, Namo Mahavadanya Ya Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gauratashe Namaha. This Pancha Tattva, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita Charya, Srivas Thakur, Gadadhar, and all the Vaishnavas, they come to show us how we can get out of miserable life and awaken to spiritual life. And spiritual life is awakened by the very simple process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And even though sometimes we may feel like it or not feel like it, regulation is good. I'm trying myself in the morning after class, sit down with the Kirtaniya in front of Krishna Balaram. You have an hour of nice kirtan and seeing the eagerness of the pilgrims. This is also the blessing of Lord Nityananda. He's making himself available through the holy name, making himself available through beautiful deity worship that's going on. Now in the Kumbh Mela, thousands, tens of thousands are coming, and they're seeing Prabhupada and the bullock cart and Gornitai there, and the kirtan is taking place, and seeing foreigners, white, black, yellow, many colored human beings all chanting to and dancing together And people are mystified. I've seen there's many temples that they visit here, there, and everywhere. When they come into Krishna Balaram Mandir, the excitement of the kirtan and the beauty of the deities, it's just a special shakti, potency that enters, and they become animated. They actually come alive, and they feel there's something special here. And we have something very, very special. We should never forget that Prabhupada's given us the full, complete package of Krishna consciousness available, but we have to follow diligently. We have to follow carefully, and how you say, adapt our whatever we do so it's conducive for Krishna consciousness, for always remembering Krishna and never forgetting Krishna. But that's just a few words, but our deeds and acts have to be such that we can put ourselves in that position. We have good association, then we'll remember Krishna. If we have bad association, then they'll just find fault with Krishna and his devotees. And there's always fault. Faults are everywhere. But we're not like the crows looking for the refuse, the garbage. Be a swan, look for the nectar, avoid filthy places. How long does your class go? Generally till 1? Or?
Yeah, Prabhu, 1 hour normally we like, yeah.
Anyway, I just found that translation by Prabhupada was very much to the point. Of course, there's the documented history of Lord Nityananda, his birth, his childhood activities, the Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita. And just know that he's non-different than Lord Balaram. Balaram and Krishna are also, when the Supreme Lord is become many, we're also little parts of Krishna. And this is the mysterious and overwhelming opulence of Krishna, that he can expand himself unlimitedly in unlimited Vishnu forms and unlimited Vaikuntha planets, Goloka, Vrindavan, and all the various Vaikuntha planets. It appears that it is so intricate and minute that every living entity, the billions and trillions and all the different planets, each one has a unique relationship, loving relationship with Krishna. So we all have that relationship. It's not that we're non-entities. Krishna, he knows, and he has that ability to understand what we want. So we have to want Krishna. And if we take shelter of Lord Nityananda on this special day, Nityananda Trayodasi, and chant enthusiastically. I'm sure it's time for his feast. Over here it is. I don't know what time it is there, but we're going to be having Lord Nityananda's feast.
10:30, Prabhu.
Oh yeah, well, we're at 1 o'clock, and so that's the time we're going to have. So, what else do we do now? I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. I think I have a Gita class coming up in about a week. Maybe I'll say something inspiring. We'll see.
Yes, Prabhu. So I'd like to actually thank you very much for beautifully explaining through these verses, translations. The whole philosophy was explained very nicely, and also you explained your personal experiences. But Prabhu, one thing I was listening is like when you said your friend was in the Dham for almost 6 years, but later he left.
He has been chanting Hare Krishna for 6 years. He only came to the Dham for a month.
Okay.
And then went back. But he had some vision problems. He was pretty much homebound. So he was hearing, but he was surrounded by all his friends, So I think that, what I was getting at is that association is very, very, very important. That if you can't be on your own, all alone, because the mind will play so many games. Better to have good association. So he got other associations, so he went a different direction. He was here just for a month or a month and a half in Vrindavan.
So like for us, Prabhu, Grihasthas, when we came to Vrindavan, we had like very energetic, we are very much motivated, encouraged in Krishna consciousness. But because of our duty, work, nature, we are coming and working here. But definitely it's, Dham is always, potency is there. But due to our commitments, we are here. But what will be your advice, Prabhu? Like when we are here, how to keep up that momentum going in a very encouraging way? Because there are so much distractions or so much troubles we encounter in progressing.
That's part of growing up. Sometimes I get younger grihasthas. They think, oh, the temple doesn't pay enough or doesn't give enough facility. I was temple president in Miami, and I started a business even though I was managing the temple. And I've had several businesses. I have a business in New York, but all the time keeping Krishna as your pivot, your shelter, place of inspiration. It doesn't mean that we can't do other things. You have family, you have responsibilities, but you have to also, it's walking a tightrope, you understand? If you're not attentive, you could very easily slip this way or that way. So we want to strive to take care of our responsibilities without being overly, greedy or materialistic or, many things. As we're reading and we're living our lives, as we're daily, Krishna's giving messages. Just like, I'll give you one example. I'm on Sankirtan, and one day it's going very nice, but a lot of times, sometime during the day, there's some challenges. The mind's giving trouble, people are giving trouble. And then I would open Srila Prabhupada's books and read a page or two, and somehow the message is always there that, oh yes, Krishna has remarkable ways, as long as we have the faith to take shelter of him and take shelter of Prabhupada, to give us the intelligence by which to do our duties without getting lost in the wilderness. So all I can say is that if you have a steady hearing, chanting, good association, avoiding gramya kata, bad association, then you'll maintain your enthusiasm and your clarity of purpose. And Krishna will make arrangements for you. He arranged this year, the COVID, so I've been here for over a year, almost a year and a half, solid in Vrindavan. And it's wonderful, it's nice. Of course, I had COVID, and that was a struggle. And locking down the temple, and who can come in, who can't come in, and those face masks and whatnot. These are challenges, but it's not that the Pandavas didn't have challenges or Juna had challenges. Challenges will always be there. Don't think, oh, the Krishna consciousness is not working, I have too many challenges. No, the challenges are purifying, but we have to see if we're genuinely interested in Lord Nityananda's mercy. So I don't know. Just keep pushing forward with a positive attitude, and Krishna will reveal to you how to maneuver in this world without getting caught in the quicksand.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. We are always attracted by your enthusiastic and smiling face.
Jai.
So I'd like to request other devotees.
This picture was on the side of the temple, but now we put some murals on the wall, so I got to capture this nice picture of Krishna holding the cows.
Very, very beautiful.
Brother. Yeah, okay, thank you again.
Thank you, Prabhu. Just quick, I'll ask any devotees have any other questions. Quickly, we can ask Prabhu. It's a very good fortune for us that we have the association of Prabhuji today. Any questions on today's class or in general for Krishna consciousness? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and with pranams to you and all assembled. Thank you for showering us Nityananda Prabhu's mercy through your words. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
My question is regarding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. We have Praman in Srimad Bhagavatam and Vishnu Sahasranam, like Krishna Varnam, Tusa Krishnam and all that, and Swarna Varna Yemango. But similarly, do we have any praman for Nityananda Prabhu's advent? Apart from
The Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is elaborately describing, and also Vrindavan Das. He is an incarnation of Vyasadeva. Just like they say, oh, there's nothing about Srimati Radharani, but then the acharyas, they explain how it's all related. So is there a specific verse in Shastra, like you said, pranam? I don't know, but I have the faith that Lord Nityananda inspired and blessed Krishnadas Kaviraj, who was also blessed by the Goswamis of the direct disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So based on his authority and Vrindavan Das Thakur's authority, describing the appearance and pastimes of Nityananda, then we accept Guru Shastra Sadhu, that their teaching is Shastra and their Guru, and the acharyas afterwards have accepted. So we're good with all that. A specific verse I don't have, but we do have the full Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. And I'm sure there's other literatures as well, which describe the characteristics and activities of that he is non-different than Balaram.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Jai Jai.
Any other devotees? Any questions? Or so, Prabhu, I think there is no more questions.
Good.
So, I'd like to thank you, Prabhu. I know you are in the festival. So much services will be there in the temple. In spite of your busy schedule, it's really great that we cannot thank by our words that you have given your time to give this class in spite of your busy schedules. So we are always feeling grateful to you, and we thank you, Prabhu, and definitely we want to hear more from you in future. So kindly, when we are requesting through Chandramamsi Prabhu, please give us some association. And on behalf of Kanyadesh devotees, Prabhu, we'd like to thank you for your time and valuable instructions you've given to us. And definitely we pray that we will follow all those things, whatever you explained today, and get the mercy.
How many devotees were on today?
Today around 32 approximate.
Good, good. Well, maybe we'll see all of you in Vrindavan.
Sure, Prabhu. Yeah.
Please come. Thank you.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. And we would like to express our gratitude to Prabhu by chanting Hare Krishna Mantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai.
Vaishnava pranams. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa Ananta Kodi Vaishnava ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Grace Pancha Gauda Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Shavana Prabhuji, around 30 logged in devices, the number of devotees will be more. Average 1.5 to 2 devotees per device.
Yeah. So Prabhu is telling that even though 32 devotees logged in, like everybody will have 2-3 people attending together, like families. Like in my home, I logged in, but there are 3-4. So it will be like more than 50.
Good, good. It's always the more people that hear about Lord Nityananda and the mercy of Prabhupada, the better off we all are, right? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chandramamsi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Chandramamsi Prabhu is there? Prabhuji is there, but his mic is in mute.
Yeah, mute.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll conclude.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, any other announcements?